Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the football podcast. The guys are here, they're talking the games that were gone, the games that are to come, all the football news, reviews, previews, predictions, everything you could possibly want from a football podcast right here. Before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Obviously the big one, if you've got a football fan in your life, send this podcast in their direction. They will love it. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the football podcast.
Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's been, well, for us, it's been a long time, but for you guys, that feed has just been ticking over nicely, hasn't it? Because we were organised. We planned ahead. We got our 3 weeks worth of material out in one evening, but spread it over the last 3 weeks, and you've had plenty to be getting on with. So, myself, Mr. Moore, Mr. Woodmansey, we are all back, and we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go through all of Week 1, Week 2 and Week 3's games and not discuss a single second of any of them. So I will commence right now. Week 1, Coventry City versus Hull City. 0-0 draw. Middlesbrough versus Swansea City. 1-0 home win. Dale Fry, 51st minute. The first round of the Carabao Cup. Oh my. Middlesbrough 0, Doncaster Rovers 4. Doncaster Rovers second 11, 4. They made 11 changes and still absolutely dicked us. Close on the 11th minute. Ajayi, 23rd minute. Gotts, 84th minute. Nixon, 90 plus 6 minutes. Wrexham versus Hull City. 3-3 draw on the night. Elliot Lee, 31st minute. Ollie Palmer in the 91st and in the 90 plus 1 and 90 plus 2. To equalise as Ali McBurney at 236th minute and Darla 70, Crooks 81. Wrexham prevail on penalties. So, what does that mean from a weekly points score? So, Coventry City 0, Hull City 0. Stuart had a 1-0, Matt had a 2-1. I had a 1-1 draw. I'm the only one who got any points from that. Middlesbrough 1, Swansea City 0. Stu had a 1-1 draw, no points. Myself and Matt both had Middlesbrough wins. None of us picked Fry because why would we? I think he scored once in about 18 years. So myself and Matt get a point there. Middlesbrough versus Doncaster, 0-4. We all had Middlesbrough wins. Matt went with the draw and Birds win on penalties. So, not ideal. No one gets any points. Wrexham versus Hull, 3-3 draw. I'd gone for a 2-2 draw with Hull to win on penalties, so I gave myself a point. Stuart had a 1-0 win. Matt had a 2-1 win for Wrexham. None of the goal scorers, which is mental as there were 5 of them, none of them were picked by any of us. So not ideal. So at the end of week 1, Stu got no points from all 4 games.
As you mean to go on, boys, that's what it is.
Matt got 1 point from the opening 4 games. I managed to bag 3 points from the 4 games. Not entirely sure how that happened. Week 2, Millwall versus Middlesbrough. A 0-3 away win for Middlesbrough. Absolutely insane. Hayden Hackney on the 49th minute. Alfie Jones showing up with his striking instincts on the 87th minute. And Delano Bergsog putting the cherry on the top of the icing on the top of the cake in the 97th minute. Sadly, no one picked any of those goal scorers, so it's just down to whether any of us picked the correct result. And no one had a Middlesbrough win, so no points from that first game in Week 2. Nottingham Forest 3, Brentford 1. A Chris Wood double on the 5th and 47th minute, or the 45th plus 2. And a Dan and Doy goal from 42 minutes gave Forest a 3-0 lead at half-time. Igor Thiago got a penalty back for Brentford in the second half. Matt had gone for a 2-2 draw here, so sadly doesn't get any points. I had a 2-0 win. Didn't pick any of the goal scorers. Stuart gone for a 2-1 win and did pick Wood. So got himself 2 points for that. Hull City versus Oxford United. First home game of the season for Mr. Woodmansey. And he was very happy as Hull got a 3-2 win. Joe Gelhardt scored on the 2nd minute. Matt Crooks scored on the 20th minute. Lancashire and Brannigan for Oxford United scored on the 9th and 26th minute to equalise, but in the 93rd minute, up pops Ollie McBurney, everyone's favourite shithouse, to win it for Hull. We'd each gone for a Hull City win. I went 1-0 with Crooks to score. Stu went with 1-0 with Crooks to score. Matt went 2-1 with Destan and Crooks to score. Didn't pick either of the Oxford United goal scorers, so bags himself 2 points for that. So, at the end of week 2, Matt had 2 points from the 3 games. I had 3 points from the 3 games. Stu got himself 4 points from the 3 games, so got himself that particular win that week. That brings us to last week's games. Hull City versus Blackburn Rovers, and it was a 3-0 win for the away team, sadly. Hedges on 18, Ohashi on 42, and Cantwell on 50. Sadly, no goal scorers picked here. I'd gone for a 1-1 draw. Stu had gone for a 1-1 draw. Matt had gone for a 2-1 away win, so does bag himself a point for the Hull City Blackburn Rovers game. That moves us on to Norwich City versus Middlesbrough. And this, surprisingly enough, was a 2-1 away win. Don't know how Borough are doing this. This is absolutely insane. Azaz on the 43rd minute and Conway on the 45th minute for Borough. Sargent did get a consolation goal for Norwich in the 85th minute. I'd gone for a 2-1 home win. Cernak, Nunes, Conway bonus point for the goal scorer. Stu went with a 1-1 draw with Sargent and Conway, so it was only a Finn Azaz goal away from a full boat there. Sadly, just gets the 2 points for the goal scorers. Matt had gone for a 2-1 win. He also picked Sargent from Norwich, so gets the bonus point for the goal scorer there. So far from 2 games, point to myself, 2 points apiece for Matt and Stu. Will one of them get a point to get a win in the last game of the week, which is Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest, the Needle Derby, as it's been known? Crystal Palace unfurling a fantastic tifo, questioning the morals, shall we say, of Mr. Marinakis.
Fantastic or libelous or just pathetic, shall we say?
Can't see it ending well for them, shall we put it that way?
No.
But yes, the game petered out to a 1-1 draw. Sarr opened the score for Palace on the 37th minute. Hudson-Odoi got the equaliser on the 57th minute. Predictions-wise, Stuart gone for a 1-0 win with Odoi to score. So
it went for the wrong Doi. That's all it was.
No Doi, clearly. Matt had gone for a 3-1 Palace win. 2 from Ateta and an Eze goal. That'd have been impressive since we signed for Arsenal the day before. But obviously, when we made these predictions, he was
3 weeks
still
ago.
very much he was still very much a hardcore Crystal Palace player. But he did pick Hudson-Odoi to score for Palace, to score for Forest, sorry. So does get himself a bonus point there. I went for a 2-2 draw. Didn't get the Palace goal scorer, but I did put Hudson-Odoi and Gibbs White as my Forest goal scorer, so I do actually bag myself 2 points for that particular game. So that means it's Stu 2 points from 3 games. Myself and Mr. Moore 3 points apiece. So we share the week.
Spoiled.
Oh, I'll have a little bit of a breather there. So yes, rattled through them. It was discussed off air that had we gone through each of the games individually, we'd still be here in about 6 weeks' time doing the games. So we decided
it would have been the November international break, never mind the September one. So
well, yes, very much so. So that is your info and your admin, so to speak, done and dusted. So we'll dive straight in with transfer activity. And I understand we'll go to Hull first, as I believe they've done the least.
Well, off the back of the transfer stuff, obviously we were awaiting the loan appeal. Well, not the loan, the transfer sort of embargo appeal results, which we were definitely getting in 48 hours, which turned into about a week and a half. And those people very much get paid by the day. So the transfer window ban was originally 3 windows for failing to make loan payments on time, even though the loan payments were made under agreements, as Ajun sort of pointed out a couple of times. Apparently had all the paperwork to back it all up and was very confident that the appeal would be overturned. When was the last time that the league got involved in anything and they went, do you know what, lads? We're completely wrong. Have it all your own way, as you've highlighted in the press. Oh, that's right. Never. However, the ban has been reduced to 2 transfer windows, with the third suspended. I presume that's on the basis of if we're late making any other payments, but seeing as we can't buy players or pay a loan fee, not really sure how that works. I presume it's then suppliers and things like that if it comes to it, or player wages and that kind of stuff. So we can't buy or pay a loan fee for a player until next summer. Now, after the 3-2 home win, dare I say it, there was a lot of Hull fans that were like, "Oh, we've done the best business we've ever done, not been able to spend any actual money." Think they got a bit of a reality check last weekend against Blackburn on the basis of Oxford are shit. Blackburn played us off the park for most of the game. A team that could pass a ball actually just ripped right through us. So, yeah, not a lot of fun. The other thing I'd just like to pass comment on before we go any further is can the Hull fans that have spent a lot of money getting Ollie McBurney printed on the back of their 2 new kits that have now been released this season just have a little word with yourself on the basis of, yes, he may have scored a couple of goals, but this is the guy that also said, I've come back to English football a different man. I have calmed down. We've had 3 league games so far, and in those 3 league games, he has had a goalkeeper by the throat and been booked after the final whistle for fighting with Sean McLaughlin, formerly of Hull City, obviously last season. So, yes, he may score a few goals, but I can't see him being on the pitch an awful lot for patches of the season if he carries on. But yeah, sorry, to get back to the case in point, transfer business, can't buy anyone, so it's free loans or free signings, and the free loan was bringing in Joe Geldhart. So obviously we had Geldhart last season on loan from Leeds. It's happened again. Good to see him back. Good player. And we've also signed Brandon Williams, who is a left back on a free transfer. Former Manchester United academy prospect. Very highly thought of until he got caught doing over 90 miles an hour with a nitrous oxide balloon in his mouth. Potentially ruining his career. Has been given a second chance at Hull after he was released previously. Not really seen too much of him yet. He got about 3 or 4 minutes at the end of the game against Blackburn. From memory, might have been a bit longer than that actually. But when you're already 3-0 down, I think it's the whole horse gate bolted kind of scenario.
He's been out for like a year, hasn't he? Like he's missed the whole season. Like he didn't was released by United or released by whoever, kind of like a year or 2 ago. Yeah.
I think he was released and injured, and it's obviously with everything else. I think because he then couldn't play, he's not had a great time of it. Sort of coming to terms with what he'd done, and basically on the the borderline of kind of ruining his entire career. But he seems to be through the worst of it. He actually pre-season he was trialist for the pre-season games. So he's been with us a little while, and from what I've seen pre-season, looked well up for it. Looks like he's got something to prove, which is kind of where you need him to be, really. Obviously, he can never condone what he did because young lad being an idiot, but it doesn't excuse it. Yeah, just not an amazing thing to have done, but it now seems to be a better headspace and wants to actually get on with it. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, watch this space. I think like when he was at United, he always sort of looked like he was, there was potentially a bit of a talented player in there, but never really sort of happened for him. And then obviously all the stuff off the field's kind of pushed him, way back in his career. But hopefully he's got like the support of the club behind him and stuff like that. So you never know. Let's hope he pans out well for him. So from Borough, they've brought in a couple of different players, and there's also been the outgoing of certainly one. The first player who's brought in is a winger, or an attacking player. Sontji Hansen has joined from Dutch club NEC Nijmegen, or NEC Nijmegen, as I believe they're sometimes known. As always seems to be the case with stuff that's reported on the Borough website, it's officially down as an undisclosed fee. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's a couple of £1 million here or there. The one outgoing is centre back Rav Vandenberg has moved to FC Köln in Germany. Surprise, surprise, it's an undisclosed fee, but I think the rumours are that it's into the tens of millions. Well, not tens of millions, but it's at least 10 million. But potentially rising. Probably have some clauses on there that will be met if he plays so many games, gets in the Dutch national team, etc., etc. They've also brought in, has to scroll for a large amount of time on the Middlesbrough website to try and find the next player. Signed a player on loan from Manchester City, Sverre Nypan. He's a midfielder. Man City actually only signed earlier in the summer. So he joined on loan for the season. He's reportedly to be thought of as quite a wonder kid. He's only 18 years old. I think he can play anywhere sort of across the midfield. So I think that one was a case of bringing him in maybe with the one eye on the if Hayden Hackney does go before the end of the transfer window, he probably fills that hole. They've also signed another player called Adilson Malander from Charlotte FC in the MLS, but the deal sees him stay with them until the end of their season. He officially joined the Borough in January. So he is looking for his position here. I can't see anywhere. Oh, defender. So I would imagine potentially play anywhere across the back three, the back five, whichever way you sort of class it. But highly rated apparently, but won't join the club officially until the January transfer window, as he's being kept back in Carolina with his MLS team. And that is the end of the Borough transfer business. So we move to Nottingham Forest, and it's the promotion season all over again, I believe, Mr. Bull.
Not quite. I mean, it's just been general business at Forest. I mean, obviously, when we did the last podcast, it was pre-CAS trial, judgment, whatever. Check your emails, lads. Thing. So obviously, in the meantime, that hearing was done and concluded, and Forest have been put into the Europa League over Crystal Palace, which obviously caused them great upset. And the PR job that their chairman's done has done an absolutely fantastic job of deflecting any blame of anybody in that club to be removed. And then, as I'd kind of joked before, Forest has set about signing multiple, to add to their England under-21 contingent. So adding, onto Morgan Gibbs-White and Elliot Anderson. We've now added the weekend just before the season started, Amari Hutchinson and James McAtee for various amounts around 30 to 37.5 million, add-ons, blah, 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 buyback clauses, etc., etc. We then bought a French under-23 player, I think. I don't know much about him, but Callum Wado, he scored 17 goals in the French league last year. comes with like rave reviews and stuff like that. And then just before Thursday last week, they signed Douglas Luiz from Juventus on loan with an obligation to buy. So adding to those resources, we sold Marco Stamenic to Swansea. He signed for us last year. We kind of stole him from under the noses of Coventry, then immediately sent him on loan to Olympiacos. He's kind of he's not been given the chance to settle in, would be one side of it. The other kind of thing, he's not settled in. So he's been shipped back out to Swansea for a fee of around somewhere between 2 to 3 million. And then all I've written underneath here is Nuno lost his shit twice. The most, you look at him and he's like the most relaxed, and he's got those big brown kind eyes that you kind of look into and you feel slightly melancholy. And then he's like, obviously before the Brentford game complaining about not having enough players signed and stuff like that. I think a lot of that was to do with the Europa League and they're not quite sure where they were going to be. And then he weirdly doubled down on it on Thursday or Friday of like, oh yeah, I don't talk to the owner anymore, which was really weird. Who knows what's going to happen? But, it's usual Forest kind of thing of, well, it's all going so well. It's all going so nice. Let's try and find a way to spoil it. So who knows? Next week we might be coming on and I'll be talking about another Forest manager leaving, or we might be talking about everything being lovely in Forest Land. So yeah, that's it. Don't think there's anything else to cover.
Very nice. Obviously, the transfer window will close by the time, or will have closed by the time we do our next recording. So we'll do a big transfer roundup in next week's show, as there sadly won't be any games to predict next week, as it's the international break. So that'll be the focus of next week's show. However, there are games to predict for this week's show. So we'll jump right in with the first of those, which sees Middlesbrough take on Sheffield United, this one live on the Sky Sports telebox this coming Saturday lunchtime. Obviously, it's my team, so I'll give my prediction last. Let's go we've just heard from him. Let's go straight back to Mr. Moore for his prediction on Middlesbrough versus Sheffield United.
Probably made a mistake here, but I've gone with the fact that they have started terribly this season. And normally that would mean that facing one of our clubs, going to get your shit sorted. I've not gone with that. I've gone with a 3-1 Borough win.
Amazing. Go give me the goal scorer.
I've got Conway, Azaz, and Whittaker.
Yeah.
And then I've gone with Louis Barry to score for Sheffield United because I was going to put Hamer, but then there's rumours of him leaving. So,
well, there is also technically there's rumours that Azaz is going to go to Southampton.
All right.
So,
I'll leave that. I'll risk it.
Sure?
Yeah.
Cool. Stu?
Well, very similar to Matt in the sense of it's all going a bit too well at the moment. So you'd normally think that, going to have to maybe put one against the Borough. However, when I realised that you were up against former Hull City manager extraordinaire in Ruben Sayers, can only hope that job continues to go so delightfully. Not for him, because I still feel a little bit aggrieved on his part, and that it is what it is. It's more for the Sheffield United fans who almost gloated, rubbing their hands together when they swooped in to save the man that had been wronged so badly, and he was coming to save their club by allowing them to lose every game so far this season. What a shame. So I've gone for Borough 2, Sheffield United 0. Similar page to Matt in the sense of Paul promised us that Whittaker was getting a season. So Whittaker's got to score. And Hackney to get the second.
also, for the second prediction in a row, rumours that he might be going by the end of the week. So, I mean, I think there's been this talk of the Ipswich move that got that it was agreed between the two clubs. He couldn't agree a personal term. So I think it's more unlikely going to be if a Premier League club comes in. And surprise, surprise, because they've started the season so terribly, West Ham have shit themselves, and they seem to be the ones that are coming in for it. So we'll wait and see.
West Ham panic buying Championship players. That doesn't sound right to me, Paul. Surely not.
Yeah, but you can't get pissed off with that one because if we're being honest, them buying Jared Bowen was the best bit of business they've done in the past 25 years.
Not for my team, them guys.
Not for your team, obviously. But I think you're both way too optimistic on this one. And I have gone with the exact rule for the exact reason they missed the whole game. They have started so poorly, they've lost all 4 games. It can't carry on like that. Or in Mick McCarthy's words, it can. So, yeah, I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think we might see a first goal in Borough colours for Mr. Hansen. If the stadium announcer hasn't clued up Bop to play as soon as he scores, he's missed a massive trick there. And I too, like Mr. Moore, have gone for Barry to score for Sheffield United because he used to play for one of our clubs. Therefore, will almost certainly score at some point this season. Right. Second game of the week sees Bristol City taking on Hull City. Stu's team, you'll go last. I've gone for a 2-1 Bristol City win, I'm afraid, Stu. I've gone for Twine because, obviously, he used to play for Hull, therefore will score. And Mehmeti score for Bristol. Gelhardt to score for Hull. Matt, what have you got for this one?
I've got the exact same as you, apart from I've got McCrory instead of the second Bristol City player you said.
Twine and McCrory. Gelhardt to score for Hull.
Yes.
That just takes us to the main man. What are you seeing?
Well, considering that this is a good 4-hour drive away from where I live, I will be there in person.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep. So it'll be the furthest away game for a while. But I've gone for a Borough win.
Hey?
We can't
We
can't play as badly as we did against Blackburn. I don't think it'll be allowed. I should say that there was there's been a virus through the squad, which always makes me a little bit nervous when it's around the transfer window because you don't know how true that is. But a few of the players have been poorly in the week leading up to the Blackburn game, and one of them was Charlie Hughes, who was obviously a centrepiece in our defence. We were also missing Matt Crooks last week through injury, so the kind of spine of the middle of the team had been ripped out. I felt sorry for the lad that replaced him, Charlie Hughes, at centre half because he was only 18 and it was his full league debut and he played a full 90 minutes. In patches, shat himself until they were 3-0 down and then decided to start having a game. So it very much depends on what team we can put out. But yeah, I went for Borough to win. I've gone for Hull to win. Why not? See if we turn up this week. It's at 3 o'clock. They might remember it's time to play football at that time of day on a Saturday rather than a stupid 12:30. So Reese for Bristol. And Darla for Hull, because he was very much a bright spark in what was a drubbing last week. And unfortunately, everyone's least favourite absolute bellend, McBurney, to score as well. If he does what he's done so far, he'll do now for most of the game, like literally 90% of the game, and then just have a shot.
Very nice. Just for clarification, you're going for a 2-1 Hull win.
2-1 Hull win, yeah.
Which leaves us with the final game of the weekend, and it is the aforementioned shitting themselves team. It's Nottingham Forest taking on West Ham United at the City Ground. Or as it's Matt saying, he will give us the last prediction of the week. I've gone for a straight up 2-0 home win. Pile some more pressure on Mr. Potter. I've gone for a goal each for Gibbs White and the new boy, Callum Wendo. Stu?
Exactly the same, except for rather than the new boy, I've got Wood.
You should see a doctor. That just leaves us with Mr. Mo to give us the final words of this week's podcast.
All far too optimistic. I've also gone for Forest 2-1 win. So 2-1. I've gone for Chris Wood and Gibbs White. And I've gone Jared Bowen to score. Because that's the one thing we are doing is conceding goals. It doesn't all seem to be quite synced up yet. And this is where, obviously, this is part of Nuno getting his knickers in a twist about it. He likes to have a pre-season. He likes everybody there at pre-season, kind of thing. And I think if Bowen plays down the left, apparently Ndoye's not particularly, like Ndoye and Aina haven't quite got a link together at the moment. So sometimes he lets people go. But hopefully this week, Nuno will stay and then get into them this over the week and just kind of get things sorted, like things like Gibbs White doing stupid shit like flicks on the 18-yard box that give the ball away. I think I was listening to a Forest podcast today, and as someone rightly said, if he carries on doing that, Elliot Anderson, because Elliot Anderson started the season really well, will definitely jump above him in the England pecking order, because apparently that's one of the two problems that Tuchel has with him, is the fact that he does his dumb flicks and loses the ball like in stupid positions kind of thing, and instead of retaining possession and stuff like that. I mean, who are we to argue with Thomas Tuchel? Quite possibly one of the most boring England managers we've had so far. But, that's another thing.
Yes. So, like you say, like by the time this we do next week's podcast, I think the squads will all be a bit more settled. Obviously, the transfer window will close. People will know what they've got to go with and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think
I've predicted all three teams to win. I think for the first time in the history of the podcast, possibly. I know. Come on, let it be a good weekend.
We got it in week 2. Will we ever get it again this season? Who knows? But that is it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's your lot for this week. Thank you very much, as always, for tuning in. Join us again next week. We'll go through the results of those particular games, and we will give you a transfer window roundup. Like I said, there will be no games to predict next week as it's the international break. But for now, thank you very much, as always, for tuning in, listening, watching. If you're new here, if this is your first time, thank you very much. We're very glad you found us. If you also like maybe Formula One in your life, then we've also got a Formula One podcast on the Cookiecast podcast network. There's also the monthly wrestling podcast. Looking forward to Clash in Paris that's coming up this month. There's also Mr. Cook's Darkest Timeline podcast, and in the next couple of weeks there'll be the return of the NFL The Laces Out podcast. Keep your eyes peeled for that. We will see you all next week, but for now, tatty bye.
So there you go. What do you think to that? Another one gone. Another one to come. More games coming along. More games to talk about. More games to be played. It's all here, and you'll all find it all here right on the Football Podcast. If you want to get those updates, find out when the next episode is available, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review when you can leave a review. They can be left all over the place. Leave them where you want. Just leave them. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with us. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for being here. Until next time, I'm going to say bye And I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to these grumpy old men talk about football. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe.